Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. Today is Tuesday, July 27th. I'm Stephanie Haney and this is your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now, if you hear some barking in the background, it's because we are very lucky to have some puppies visiting us here in the newsroom today, so do not be alarmed. I know you're used to hearing maybe Winston, my puggle, sniffing around when I'm at home, but right now I'm in the studio and you are hearing someone else's puppies, probably up for adoption. So do not be alarmed. Now, let's start with the latest news that everyone is talking about right now out of Tokyo. Simone Biles taking herself out of the women's team gymnastics finals competition, leaving the rest of Team USA, Grace McCallum, Sunisa Lee, and Jordan Childs to carry on without her. It was at the women's gymnastics team final on Tuesday night when Simone Biles started to feel the nerve. She had posted about that on social media. Now, she had said that she can handle the pressure, of course, but some of those doubts then apparently crept into her performance a bit. At least that's what seems to be the case. We don't know exactly what the situation there is. Perhaps we will find out more of the specifics later. But Biles did remove herself from the competition following one rotation. Now, what this did was it opened the door for the Russian Olympic Committee to take gold in the women's team gymnastics competition. Her American teammates did get the silver. Huge congratulations to them. Here's what Biles said. She said she didn't want to go into any other events second-guessing herself, so she thought it would be better if she took a step back and let the girls go out there and do their job. So for the rest of the time, while those women competed, Biles elected herself head cheerleader. She cheered the women on from the sidelines. She got them chalk when they needed it. She gave them hugs as they came off the field. Here is what she said leading up to the competition. It was on Monday here in the States that she posted on social media that she felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, and it affected her practice and her confidence. And when she stepped onto the vault runway, it found her way into her performance too. Here's what she posted online. She said, "It wasn't an easy day or my best day, but I got through it." This was leading up to her decision to remove herself from the team competition. She said, "I truly do feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders at times. I know I brush it off and make it seem like pressure doesn't affect me, but sometimes it's hard. The Olympics is no joke," and she knows because she has been there before. So here is what happened immediately before her decision to remove herself from that competition. She was supposed to do an Aminar vault. Now, what that is, it's a round-off back handspring onto the table, and then it's followed by 2.5 twists. Well, Biles did just 1.5 twists, and then she had a leap forward after landing. So after that, she sat down, she talked to the Team USA Dr. Marcia Faustin. Then she headed to the back while her teammates moved on to the uneven bars without her. She encouraged her fellow teammates after making the decision to step aside. She said, "I'm sorry, I love you guys, but you're going to be just fine. You guys have trained your entire life for this. It's fine. I've been to an Olympics. I'll be fine." That's what she could be heard saying on TV coverage. Now, soon after that, Team USA Gymnastics came out with a statement saying that Biles had experienced a medical issue and had to withdraw from the team finals. Now, they also say that she'll be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competitions. In Rio de Janeiro 5 years ago, Biles won 5 medals. She's now scheduled to defend her Olympic title in the all-around final. That's on Thursday, and she has also qualified for all 4 individual event finals that will be later in the Games. Now, our Cleveland native Delonte Tiger Johnson won again at the Tokyo Olympics bright and early this morning Eastern time. So now he'll advance to the quarterfinals. It was a split decision, 4-1 early this morning, beating the Kazakhstan competitor in round 16. So now Johnson goes on to the quarterfinals. That's a round of 8, and he'll face the competitor from Cuba later this week. Here's what he told 3 News on Monday before his fight. He says, "I definitely appreciate everyone that's supporting me. I feel like that's something everybody needs. Big shout outs to Cleveland." Now, going into Tuesday's fight, he said he was warmed up and ready to finish the tournament. He says, "I'm just taking it day by day, just staying focused, making sure that I'm ready. I'm taking it fight by fight, one round at a time." Congratulations on that big win to Tiger Johnson. We know he's representing for the land. Now, unfortunately, another native didn't win in his own competition. I'm talking about Akron's Michael Allio. He removed himself from the running for the love of the Bachelorette, Katie Thurston. We saw that on Monday night's episode. There was a sort of mini episode that was completely devoted to Michael telling Katie that it was time for him to go home before the Men Tell All special. This is where everyone who has been cut from the reality dating competition then sort of hashes things out, says what's been left unsaid with the Bachelorette, Katie Thurston, and also with each other. So what we saw was what we saw previews of leading up to this moment. We saw Michael struggling with being away from his son. We saw a key moment where Michael's 4-year-old son, James, who he shared with his late wife, Laura, who he lost to breast cancer in January of 2019, his son said, maybe daddy's gone because he doesn't want to see me. And that was more than Michael could take. He went to go see Katie in her room. He knocked on the door and he said, something that's happened that has changed things for me. He tried to reassure her that it had nothing to do with their relationship, but they just needed to leave to be a good dad to James. But whatever the reason, he had to go. And so now Katie is left with 3 men. We don't know how that turns out, but we do know that our Michael Allio has finished his journey for love on The Bachelorette with Katie Thurston. He did say at the Men Tell All last night that if he had the opportunity to have a second chance with Katie, he would take it. Katie, though, gently turned that down. She said that she has a lot of love and respect for Michael, but when he left, she had no choice but to move on. And what happened is what was supposed to happen for her. So we wish Katie the best of luck in whatever happened for her with the remaining 2 episodes of The Bachelorette. And of course, we wish Michael the best. And I'll be talking with him soon on the 3 Things to Know podcast. So watch out for that. We'll be able to ask him some of the questions that people are wondering about. Now, here's a little bit more drama that's hitting pretty close to home. You know how the Tribe is changing its name to the Cleveland Guardians at the end of this season, at the beginning of the 2022 season? Well, there's another team in town that's already the Cleveland Guardians, and that's a local roller derby team. The Cleveland Guardians roller derby team is open to people 18 years and older who want to skate for fun, fitness, and competition. According to the team's website, they've been around since at least 2014. So not sure exactly if there were any conversations between the baseball team and the roller derby team, but that is definitely something that people were not expecting to know. It's definitely highlighting that roller derby team. So if you weren't in that world, now you know. There is already a Cleveland Guardians, and they are in the roller derby space. Now here in Northeast Ohio, there are 7 candidates in the running for Cleveland mayor to replace Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson, who has said he will not run again after serving an unprecedented length at the office here in Cleveland. And recently they squared off in a forum on police reform. There is a proposed charter amendment that would create a civilian police review board. It would give the power to the people for police oversight. Now, police reform obviously been a hot topic of conversation over the past year, sort of things getting kicked off to an unprecedented level with the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis at the hands of a then police officer. So that conversation spilling over across the nation. It's one that we're having here in Cleveland as well. Of the 7 candidates, Justin Bibb was the only candidate to enthusiastically support that charter. Now, the other candidates were critical of some aspects of the plan. Now, the plan was put forth, by the way, by a group called Citizens for a Safer Cleveland. Former city council person Zach Reed did not clearly express support or opposition to the charter amendment. He just said that police would be held accountable under his administration. If you'd like to see more about what those candidates said, as well as the 5 additional candidates who are hoping to be elected mayor of Cleveland this year, you can find that on WKYC.com. And if you've been watching what will happen in the fall with schools, you'll be interested to know that yesterday our Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said he will not be mandating masks for people in schools right now. He said, actually, to be quite candid, he's not sure that he has the authority to do that right now. Now, if you remember, Ohio lawmakers passed, Governor DeWine vetoed, and then lawmakers overrode the veto on Senate Bill 22. Now, what this does is it gives the General Assembly the ability to reject any of the governor's or health department's health orders. So Governor DeWine pointed out that there's not an appetite right now in the state for that type of a mandate. He said when it was in place last year, there was an appetite for it, but right now doesn't have the ability to do that. But what he does have the ability to do is to tell people the facts, and the health department has the ability to tell people the facts. He did say this. He said, let me share just one more fact with the quarantine issue. Quarantine goes back decades and maybe centuries. He says it predates COVID, and they saw what happened last year when kids were masked in classrooms. This is a quote from him. If Sally was even 3 feet away from Billy and Billy had COVID, we didn't see much spread. And so we were able, for those who were wearing masks in classrooms when kids were masked, we were able to say to them, you do not have to quarantine your child. Your son, your daughter does not have to quarantine. That was pulling back from what the CDC said. But he did say, if you want your child to play sports, Not being vaccinated and not wearing a mask in school is a recipe for that not to happen, or for that to certainly potentially be interrupted. Those are words from Governor DeWine. It was earlier on Monday, by the way, that the Ohio Department of Health issued new guidance for schools strongly recommending but not mandating that unvaccinated students and staff members wear masks. Another important issue to discuss right now, the $300 weekly unemployment issue. That is something that was provided by the federal government here in Ohio. Ohio has opted to end that earlier than it would otherwise end. It will end across the country in September unless more action is taken. But Governor DeWine has decided to end that early. Well, there is a ruling to extend the weekly federal unemployment benefit, and that could come as early, it's expected to come as early as Wednesday or Thursday from a Franklin County Common Pleas judge. That's Judge Michael J. Holbrook. But people who have filed legal briefs on behalf of Governor DeWine, who wants that extension to continue to be done, said they will appeal if the ruling is not in their favor. And so what that would do is that would send the case to the 10th District Court of Appeals, and after that it would go to the Ohio Supreme Court. So the bottom line is, if you're one of the people who's been waiting on that money or counting on that money or hoping for that money, even if the judge does rule in favor of the people, you will not get instant relief. Now, it's employers across the state who are saying they are having a hard time finding workers, and the state's argument is that taking away that $300 weekly benefit is an incentive for people to return to work. Now, already, judges in Indiana and Maryland have ruled that those two states have to restart pandemic jobless benefits that were halted until lawsuits over the issue are cleared up. There are 26 states that have ended the enhanced federal unemployment before it's due to expire in early September. Those governors are blaming the benefits for keeping people from seeking work, and all but one of those governors are Republican. Something else to let you know about before we go here today, there's a new zip line at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, and it is family friendly. You actually sit in it, and 2 passengers can ride together. It's 700 feet long. You are lifted up to a 150-foot tower, and then you get to go. And from there, you can see a beautiful view of downtown Cleveland. So that's open now if you want to check that out at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. And we will end with one fun fact about the Olympics. A lot of people have been Googling, why do divers shower after diving? Because you're already wet, right? So why would you need to jump in the shower? And presumably that water is probably pretty clean. Well, according to multiple articles that have been published throughout the years, jumping into the water, then jumping back out into air conditioning, like at an arena, can be really jarring on your muscles, and that could potentially cause your muscles to cramp. That's not something that you want to happen while you're competing at the highest level at the Olympics. So if you hop into a shower afterwards, even for a few seconds, that can help relieve the stress on the muscles and prevent that cramping and prevent potential injury, which is definitely something that is top of mind for Olympic competitors. So often we'll see those athletes shower in warm water and then maybe jump into a hot tub. And that is why divers shower after getting out of the pool at the Olympics. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Tuesday, July 27th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories. It's a completely Olympics version of Clicking in Cleveland for the next 2 weeks. So we'll see you there. I'll also see you on the 11 p.m. show with what is trending in Tokyo. So if you're not used to catching me there, I will see you on What's Next at 11 p.m. and I will see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now.